Do you want to go into any situation with the ability to not care about the outcome of this situation? This is Ryan Talks, and this is basically my idea of the art of an amazing view of the forest that I am in right now. But this is my idea of what you should be doing, what you should be thinking, how you should be acting to get to that point. Now, I have always kind of had that viewpoint of it really doesn't matter what other people think, you know, because it has absolutely nothing to do with them. You know, if somebody's miserable, they might be taking it out on you, but there's nothing that you can do about that. And the reality is you have to let things go. Just kind of like these trees are letting these leaves go, even though these leaves supported them for this amount of time. It's kind of like you have to let, especially if this is your parents are the trees and you're the leaves, you've got to leave the nest. And it's great what they've thought about you, or, you know, it's great what they want you to do and all that kind of stuff, but does it have anything to do with where you're at? Or if you're in a relationship with somebody, do you really, you know, it's nice to know what other people think, but does it, you know, emanate with you or whatever on a broad scale? Do you have anything to do with what their thoughts are? You know, a lot of people get in a relationship with the idea that you're going to change these people that you're in the relationship with, but why are you doing that? You know, what is the reason behind it? Were you in a situation yourself where you couldn't, you know, be yourself, and now you're trying to change everybody else because this is the patterns that you saw your entire life? Such a cool day. What caused this? You know, what caused this situation in your life? What is the reason behind it? And I think you really have to analyze this. Or why do you care what other people think? It's all about letting go. You know, like I said, these leaves here are such a good example of this, of just letting go. This thing nourished this tree its entire life, but it has to let it go. These thoughts and everything got you to the point you're at now, but if you are not going to be willing to change your thoughts or change whatever it is that's driving you nuts or that's keeping you locked up in your situation, if you don't get rid of that, you're never going to get to a point of not giving a what other people have to think about you. You're always going to be dependent on what their thoughts are, or what, you know, what's going on with your life. You know, basically you're trying to ask other people what you should be doing with your existence. Or if you're in a relationship, you know, caring more about what the other person thinks. And I'm not saying not to care what the other people think, but I'm saying, like, if you care more about what the other people think, you're going to start pushing them away. You know, they're going to start going away because they're like, wow, this person's really, you know, is too dependent on me. Or that, you know, you can feel that energy. You know, if somebody's always thinking about you, or if somebody's always, you know, has you on their mind, or that kind of energy, they're going to start feeling that, and they're going to start pushing away because they realize that you're like an energy vampire. You're sucking out the life from them. It's all about a balance. So if you want something really bad, then you are giving out an energy that you don't have it. Or if you need something really bad, you're going to give out an energy that you don't think that you can achieve it. So you have to start letting go of this, and you have to start letting go of what other people's opinions are, because the reality is it has absolutely nothing to do with you in the first place. You have to start coming into yourself. You have to start asking yourself, what is causing this in my own process, my own mind? What is causing this to happen? Why am I so dependent on other people's thoughts and processes and not on my own? And when you start really analyzing this, and when you start actually coming into your own self, you're going to start noticing that you are more magnetic. Because if you are starting to become yourself, you're going to start attracting other people who are also in that wavelength with you. It's just going to work so much better for you. So the simple answer is you really have to let go of this stuff. You have to let go of the idea that other people's opinions of you are more than your opinion of yourself. Or if you're trying to attract somebody and you're real needy, it's never going to work out, because you're going to always be stuck in that trying to please somebody else and not really caring about what your own thought process is. And then you're going to get stuck in wanting to know exactly how they're thinking about you, and it just gets ridiculous. Or if you're just starting to meet somebody and you're always, texting them or just hovering over them, they can feel that energy coming out of you, and it just gets, suffocating. You're suffocating these people with your energy. Honestly, I've talked to, since I started my other channel probably 2 years ago, I've had so many, startup to relationships in the DMs on Instagram, but I just realized that these people just aren't who I am. And one of the best things, or who I'm looking for, and one of the best things that you can do in your life is to walk away. When you walk away, that energy really sends out the fact that this just isn't for you, or you're just not. Sorry, it got really windy. I had to cut the video. The bottom line is, everything's about energy. It's a give and a take. And if you're constantly in that energy of you're not enough, you're never going to attract what you want in life. You're always going to keep attracting the same thing. So if you want to attract something else in your life, you really have to come into your own being, and you really have to start working on yourself. And when you start working on yourself and asking, what do I want, more than what do the other people want? And this isn't selfish, because the most selfish thing that you can do is always be on somebody's payroll, basically. Or, on the tit, you need to leave that mentality that other people need to take care of you, or you don't have your own thoughts, or you're a victim because of this. This is a lot of victim mentality. Everybody thinks that, somebody else should be doing my work for me. And once you leave that, once you stop caring about what other people think, and you really realize what you're actually here for, the people that you really need to be in your life will start showing up, and you will notice that a lot of people that were in your life are going to start disappearing. They're going to be gone. And it can be daunting in the beginning. It can definitely be daunting, because you've had maybe these people in your life your entire life if you're younger, and all of a sudden you're just in a different energy wavelength. You can't maintain some of the friendships anymore that got you to the place that you don't want to be anymore. When you start coming into yourself and walking away, or maybe if you're in a terrible relationship and you walk away from it, and you're like, oh my God, always thinking about this person, but then you start getting other friends, or you start having other hobbies, or you start having other things in your life that you're doing. They might start calling you more, or maybe it just wasn't meant to be altogether, and it just falls apart. But you find somebody else. So the way that you start not caring about what other people think is to really start becoming more about what you think, and what are you about, and what you are trying to build, and what your purpose is. And when you start having that in your mindset, then other people's opinions are great, but you just don't listen to them anymore. It's just not a thing. Or somebody's, I had somebody ask me about, well, what do you do if you're vegan and you're eating vegan meals in a break room and everybody's making fun of you? Maybe one of the best things that you can do is just have fun with them. Just eating oranges. Can you imagine that? Or something like that. But if you get real defensive, that's when they're going to start making fun of you more. Or if you start, if they see that this is really getting a rise out of you, then that's when people are going to start making jokes or whatever, or getting on your nerves more. But if you just kind of go along with the flow, or just don't even acknowledge, or beat them to the punch. Beat them to the punch. I remember when I had one of my bank jobs. I was just starting this bank job, and I was in training for a month. And at that time, I didn't know what to bring for lunch. So I was just bringing a 4-pound bag of oranges. And everybody thought I was nuts. And I'm like, yeah, here I am, oranges, I'm going to turn orange or whatever. And people kind of joked around with you because they realized that you weren't too serious about it. But it's when you become too serious about something, or you let go of your own energy, that's when people come in for the strike. And that is when you lose your own energy and you start accepting other people's energies. I guess the homework is to really ask yourself what it is that you are here for, or what it is. Start working on yourself. You got to start working on yourself. You got to start. Other people, like I said in a couple of my other videos, it's great having other people in your life, but if you're always the yes man, you're never going to get where you want to get. So you really have to, what is your opinion on the matter? What is your reason for being here? What is your purpose? And when you start living that, you realize how little you care about other people's opinions. But how I've done it over the years, how I've just not cared what other people thought was, I'm not them. The simple answer is I'm not them. I have nothing to do with what they think of me. I have nothing to do with it whatsoever. It has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with them. And maybe, you know, but here's the thing. If somebody has this opinion about, like, I've gotten some comments on my YouTube channel and it resonated with me, and I'm like, oh, you know, that's probably true, and I changed things about myself. And you can use other people's opinions to do that, but if you're living based off of them, you really have to come into yourself. And when you come into your own energy, when you start, you know, like if you're talking to somebody new and you're like, oh, you're trying to control the thing, sometimes controlling it is the worst thing you can do. Maybe this person isn't right for you, but you try to force it. You see this in a lot of people. You see a lot of terrible relationships out there with people in these relationships that they think they need to be in, but they're terrible relationships. Just walk away. Just go into your own energy. And you know, these people probably weren't supposed to be in your life in the first place, but you just thought that you had to have somebody there. And it just isn't true. Hopefully this video helped you. If it did, leave comments down below. How, you know, what situations have you been in your life like this? And I'll definitely make more videos about this, because it's just something that I have never really cared about. You know, other people's opinions of me. I just haven't really registered, because it just doesn't matter. Most people are just miserable and they're looking for, you know, for a way to make fun of somebody. And it just, I don't know, it just doesn't make any sense to really give it any attention. Now, if you're having the same complaints from everybody, that might be something that you want to look for. You know, look, maybe you need to change that. But letting go is about the easiest thing that you can do once you realize how easy it is, because it has nothing to do with you in the first place. Anyway, I could talk on this subject forever. That is so cool. I wish I had some Kodachrome. Back in the day, I used to come out with a Kodachrome film and one of my cameras. These look so cool with that stuff. Anyway, comments, questions down below. Like always, like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you in the next one.